I promise I make more than just stuff out of Hammond organs. So far the channel has been nothing but Hammond stuff. It hasn't even been all tube stuff. I've been messing around with the palladium and everything. I have a large collection of gear. We'll do an episode on that soon. A large collection of broken, worthless to anybody but me gear. This is one of those such pieces. I was going through my stuff and I was like, oh, you know, I've got 4 of these. It's a intercom called a talk-a-phone. Talk-a-phone. And it's got tubes in it. It's fully decked out with tubes. This one runs a pair of 12 AU6s. Yes, 12 AU6, not 7. The 12 AU6 is a single pentode in a 7-pin package, and you may have seen a 6 AU6 before. Same tube, just different heaters. The 50C5 is a power tube. I think it's somewhere between 2 and 3 watts. And even though there's 2 of them here, they are not working together. It's not a push-pull circuit. They're not working in single-ended together either. Each one is doing a different function. This is a donor chassis. This does not have a power transformer in it. The reason it has the weird tubes it has is because these numbers add up to about wall voltage. You've got 50 plus 50 plus 12 plus 12. That's 124. The reason I've got this flipped up underneath is because it's the only interesting part of this thing. Like, there's nothing on the back, nothing on the sides. The front literally has a volume control, and then this thing's kind of a neat switch. I want to find a way to use it. I think this is talk, then it stays on. This is listen, which is its standard mode. And then this, you hold it down to talk, like a CB radio. You hold the button down to talk. That way, blah, 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 let it go, and then someone else talks back to you. That way you're not like interrupting each other. But of course, if you're just giving a speech and you're not having a conversation, you just flip it up and just let your mouth run. That's basically it. The underside is way more interesting. This is where the tubes are. We've got a couple of weird controls here. First of all, the power cord connects on the bottom. Extra strange, like not to the back. It had feet on here, but somewhere over the years I borrowed the feet for another project. I've had these since the summer of 2013. I got them from a scrapyard in Asheville, North Carolina called Biltmore Iron and Metal. That place is a very cool scrapyard. I don't know if they still do it. Like, you could buy the scrap metal that people brought in and you had to pay the retail scrap price. They buy for the wholesale scrap price and then they're willing to sell for retail. And you could even bring in your metal, get the wholesale, and then use it as trade towards retail. Gather up a bunch of junk metal, like literal scrap, and then we'd go in there looking for treasures. So I paid under $2 for this thing. I have 4 of these. When I first got these, me and my friends had a lot of fun with them because 3 of the 4 still functioned, at least mostly functioned. This one right here, I don't know if you can see that right there. This one, I'm guessing, didn't work anymore. Now that we're on the underside here, I can show you what's going on a little closer. This right here is some kind of tuning coil or something. This right here, it says right here, ground cord jack. And it has this switch here between normal and ground transmission. I'm not exactly sure how that works. It has something to do with sending the signal over the power line. Like, this is wireless, but it uses, as in like there's no audio connector from unit to unit. Being an intercom, a talk-a-phone, you could hook up this ground cord jack directly and it would use that for communication. Like, it would actually use the ground lug of your house or your building. And as long as everything was connected to that same ground, it could transmit. And then normal, I think, goes one step further and it actually transmits the audio signal over the neutral leg of the 2-prong, with one of these carrying the signal. Kind of nuts. Let me be clear, we have no intention at all of using this as a intercom. Anyway, what I'm trying to do here with this is I want to make it into something real that I'll actually use. I think it's a neat box. It's well made. We're going to take it apart here in just a minute, but I just wanted to show you up close this label and everything. This right here is your sensitivity control. So this is like your gain control for the microphone preamp of sorts. This thing's got a wacky design. I don't have the actual schematic for this unit, but I have a schematic for a very similar unit. So this is a gain control, I think, for that. And then this, the actual volume, which also has the power switch on it. All right, right here, the actual power switch. This is just your listening volume. This doesn't adjust anything about your send volume. And this right here is the send volume. My guess is it was put on the bottom and hidden out of sight so that the person administrating the offices where these were used could make sure that the boss couldn't just always crank their thing all the way up so loud that it would hurt. They would set it at a place where they could hear them, and then they wouldn't be able to change it. And they probably wouldn't even know this was under here because they didn't set the system up. So this was the secretary saver, my guess. Sensitivity control? Yeah, I mean, that sounds about right. That actually sounds really modern. And there's no power transformer. Yeah, that's right. That means that it runs the heaters and the high voltage all off of the power coming straight in from the wall. So there's no ground that goes to the house unless you wire this up. And I don't even know if that works for safety at all or if it's just for communication. I have no idea. Whatever, this is kind of a wild device. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna take this thing apart, all right? So that's enough talking about this thing. We're here to take this thing apart. I'm gonna need a flathead screwdriver and at least a wire clipper. And you're probably gonna need some kind of pliers, some kind of pokey tool. That's what we're gonna be using here today. We'll go ahead and start by just taking it apart. Take all the screws out. All right, here we go. We'll get these tubes out once we've got the thing taken apart. There's 4 of these in the corners. Properly fucked number 1. Gotta take the knobs off. The knobs. Speaker here, it's not mounted very good. It just kind of flops around. So now we're gonna put this aside. And this is what we're left with, main inner chassis. Let's get a good look at this thing. We've got a pair of 50 C5 tubes. They have independent functions. One drives the output, and then the other one drives the signal. There's a 12AU6 and another 12AU. Kind of gonna reach around there to get that. With the top cover taken off, this is what we've got. We got the tubes pulled out. Got this funky little speaker just chilling. So this speaker actually functions as the playback speaker and as the microphone. When you flip this switch, it actually flips what this is doing from being an input to being an output. It's kind of neat. In order to do that, I don't know what the impedance of this speaker is in order for it to function as to do both functions. Like, I don't think an 8 ohm speaker would be a very good mic. I mean, it's not a very good microphone. It's the kind that sounds like So anyway, we're gonna take that apart first. Then there's these 2 screws holding the actual speaker on. Put that aside for now, but I will come back and check it. I'm just taking this whole thing apart, but I'm not tweaking anything. This is scorched earth. I'm gutting this and changing everything. I absolutely hate having the power switch on a pot. I could be using a desoldering tool and being gentler with this stuff, but very few of these parts are gonna get reused. This is pretty neat. It's a really cool multi-switch. I will definitely add this to my collection of weird controls. Maybe I'll reuse that for something. The switch here will stay because it's riveted for now. This little ground lug thing can go next. I guess I'll go ahead and cut this cord. Little squeeze. It should push right through the chassis. Yeah, there we go. So we gotta make sure there's nothing else connected. There's 2 screws. I'll just take the rest of this little sub chassis off of here. Oh, there's one more thing connected. So all this stuff is gonna come off. I don't even have my soldering iron set up right now. I'm just gonna clip this stuff out and then come back later. You never know when you're gonna reuse an old carbon comp resistor though. These other coupling capacitors, these big white ones, I don't know if I'll use those, but those might still work. I'll definitely test them. Normally I would label these transformers, but I have more of these that I can reference and just go back and look at what they were connected to. For now, the only thing that's important to me is what their impedance is. So yeah, these are transformers. One is an input and one is an output. One uses the speaker as a microphone and converts the speaker input that is amplified by the 12AU6, and then that is sent to the 50C5 and amplified again. And then it sends the signal to the other unit. And then when that unit receives the signal and it's set to listen, the 12AU6 is a preamp of that signal. When it's in listen mode, it connects to the speaker as an output. These both connect to the same speaker, but they're on separate circuits, and only one is on at the same time. Pretty neat efficiency. Dog shit for audio quality. The frequency response of this is probably atrocious because it was just meant for mid-range. But I'm just making a fun little toy out of this, so I don't really care about frequency response. In fact, if I'm messing with something that's going to be a mid-range type instrument, it won't matter. Like, this might sound super cool with a guitar. Anyway, I'm circuit bending a tube amp. Can you friggin' believe it? People said it, you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't even associate those words together. You're gonna get people electrocuted, Jesse. What are you doing? But anyway, so this is what I'm left with. I've got 2 transformers on this chassis, an input and an output. I've got 4 7-pin tube sockets. This multi-cap can, that's gonna come off. But I've got these tag strips and plenty of space to build just about anything I want here. And I'm gonna build some kind of wild guitar amp slash mic, like a vocal amp. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just gonna be a neat little machine that you can hook a microphone up to or a guitar up to, and you can hook up a speaker to the output, and it'll be low wattage. So it's like a tiny little PA. I don't know. We'll get more into the design details in the next video. This is just a dismantling video. We're just gonna clip all these pieces out and then we'll be done here. You can identify the transformer leads. They're these woven ones here. We're gonna leave those as long as possible. Where's my leads for my one transformer? So how are y'all doing today? I know I have these super exciting videos that they're just a thrill a minute. I do a lot of audio edits to take out my stuttering and my repetition, and I say the word duh and so a lot. And to me, the goal is the chassis and the transformers that are here. I think they're going to be good for color and fun. They're absolutely not going to be accurate or hi-fi or anything like that. Oh, that thing's just an intercom. It's junk. As it came, it may very well be, as far as like no one's using this as an intercom in 2026. So the transformers are riveted to the chassis, so they're gonna stay right where they are. I don't wanna mess with that. There are lots of ways to pull this stuff out of here. I prefer to just go scorched earth, take it all off. I'll go back with the solder sucker later, suck all the solder off of this. I'll desolder and remove these. These are really hard to find these days. Anything bigger than a half watt. These little guys are half watts. They still make carbon comp half watts, but the larger ones, I don't know. If they do, they're expensive as heck, like several dollars each. So that's your clean chassis. Before I go back with the soldering iron and do a full clean out on the next video. All right, so that's what we wind up with. We've got all this crap right here. 2 12AU6 tubes, and I think I'm gonna reuse these if they test good. We got these 2 50C5 tubes, which I will probably never use. They're in a lot of radios and Widowmaker amps, so I think they're worth something. I got this cool little multi-switch, plenty of these capacitors in different sizes. I ruined this thing, so that's probably gonna get thrown away. I got some knobs. I got this cool little speaker. Here's the chassis top, the chassis insert, I think it's down like that. And we've got this guy, the little sub chassis. There we go. A model TLC33 or model TLC17. I don't know what the difference would be. Properly fucked number 1. It's gonna be a fun little project, and we've now taken it apart. Wasn't that fun? Till next time.